In this episode, we start to reassemble the Fiat 500 and we give you an update on what's happened with the Corsa. Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode. Now, if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe down below and also press that bell notification button so you get notified whenever we launch a new video. Now, we've had a really interesting week this week. The subscriber numbers have shot up by about 700 in 1 week, so fantastic. And welcome if you're new to this channel and you're seeing this perhaps for the first time. And also, we sold the Corsa, so the Corsa was sold, and I'm going to talk about that at the end of this video, about prices, etc. So you'll see what happened there. But of course, this week a lot of our parts came in for the 500. We've still got one or two bits that are missing, so we need to pick those up. But in the meantime, what we'll be able to do is at least start the reassemble process. So in a minute, I'm going to show you the bits that have come in. All the body parts, thankfully, they all arrived. May have made a little bit of a faux pas though, because I decided to do a bit of an upgrade to this 500, being a twin air and a little bit of a sporty number. So what I did was I bought a later front bumper, and that's caused a myriad of minor issues, not major issues, minor issues. So the body fits, the panel fits well, and the reason why I bought this bumper was because it was in really good condition. Just needs to be cleaned and buffed up a little bit. But what I didn't realize is that there's a number of trim bits that are missing. And if you've seen Rob's video on salvage rebuilds, he's doing up a purple 500. Giving you a shout out there, Rob. And like Rob, I'm finding problems finding trim for newer vehicles. Even though that car has been around since 2015, I think the facelift was introduced, or the latter part of 2015. Getting the trim parts for it, nightmare. So I managed to get all but one of the trim parts for the body, for the front bumper. The other bits, I think I'm going to have to buy them from Fiat direct. So that's going to add a little bit of cost in there. But that's fine, because I think the car owes me very little in terms of what I've done so far. And another thing, I had to buy 2 daylight running lights because the later, the refit model, or the facelift version, has bigger lights. So the current running, the good working running light that was on the original bumper doesn't fit on the new one, they're bigger. So I've had to buy 2 of those. Fortunately, I've been able to get those second hand and not had to fork out the £140. Yes, £140, because I've got an LED in them for the to buy the replacement. So I caught a good break there. Anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at the panels that we've got so far, and then let's start fitting them to the car. Okay, so here's the panels that we bought. So first of all, we're looking at the front wing. This front wing, perfect in every way. I've cleaned the wing up, given it a bit of a polish and a cut, and it's come up really well. There is a little mark at the very top of the car that I'm going to touch up with some paint. And the bonnet, again, perfect in every way. That's polished up really well. No marks on that whatsoever. It just absolutely pops. So I'm really ecstatic with this. And then the bumper. So here's a Mark II bumper that I purchased. Now, what I've been able to do, I've got the trim down here. That's sorted. This is the bit that is missing. Okay, so this is the bit that I need to get trim for, and that's the bit that Rob was able to, I had to purchase direct from the Fiat dealership. I've got the badge and the blades that go with that, so that's fine there, so there's no issue there whatsoever. And one of the reasons why I bought this bumper is because the bit here, this bit here, on a lot of 500s is chrome. It's a plastic chrome, whereas on this twin air, you'll see that it's actually just painted. So this one works really well. Here's the daylight running light aperture, and I have the original daylight running bulb, so that's it here, and it just doesn't fit. It's too small. The new one's bigger, so I'm going to sell this on eBay. It's working, no problem, nothing wrong with it, to help to recoup the cost. But other than that, the bumper's in really good condition. I'm really pleased with it, actually. The only one issue I found was on this side here. very difficult to see, but you can just see it's slightly growing. And what I've done is I've gone over it with my DAS machine, my DA polisher, and it's taken a lot of the marks off, but you can just see some paint crack. So I'm just wondering whether I sand that down and then re-lacquer it. It doesn't need repainting, it's just a lacquer where it's kind of just cracked, where it's probably had a little bit of a nudge, but it hasn't really taken the paint off. But I could be finicky. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, unfortunately, so for me everything has to be absolutely clean, but really I have to keep telling myself that this is a second-hand car. So anyway, today we're going to fit the bonnet and we're going to fit the wing on the car, and we need to get the daylight running lights before we fit those because they have to be screwed into place and it's a lot more difficult to pull it in the car. However, hopefully we'll start to dress the bottom part of the bumper, and I've got a little trim that goes in here from the existing. I want to see if that fits in here. If it does, super. If it doesn't, then we'll just reorder the new facelift one. Alright, so without further ado, let's get the car in position, let's get the front wing fitted. Okay, so the wing is on and all lined up. That went in much easier than I thought it would actually. So I just had to hammer this down a little bit with a soft mallet bodywork hammer just to get it flush with the door. It needs a teeny little bit more work doing to it, and the reason why it needs the work is because of the glue. There's a glue line that Fiat put in on the factory, and what that does is it bonds the wing to the body, and when you take it off, or when the breaker yards take them off, they pull at the wing, so it misshapes the wing slightly. So what you have to do is when you put the wing back on, you got to reshape the wing so that it matches the contours of the car. So this needs just a teeny little bit more work done, then it's done. This is the mark I was telling you about. You can see it here. So I just need to I'm going to just touch that up because it's cosmetic really, and I've got some paint which is the exact color, and I've tested it and it matches. So I'm just going to literally touch it up because it draws the eye away from it, and then that bit is good. If you notice the door looks a little bit dull, that's because I've been sanding it. I've been wet sanding the door to get rid of the burn mark. So that's the door that I've done so far, and it's taken a lot of it off. That's the A-pillar that I haven't done yet, and you can definitely see the difference, can't you? It's a lot lighter. So I will do the A-pillar, do the same treatment there, but at the moment I'm just concentrating on that. Then once I finish that, I'll then buff it up with my polisher, and that should bring it up fine. Because the good thing about Fiat, or compared to Fiat of old, they put their paintwork is much better. It's considerably better than it was in the 70s and 80s. So they have quite a thick coat of lacquer to protect the paint. So right, next thing we're going to fit is the bonnet. I'm going to just straighten the car up, and then we'll put the bonnet on, and then that should be all we're going to do on. Oh, and the headlight. I'm going to put the headlight. You got to put the wing on first before you put the headlight on. So let's do that next. Okay, so I've mock fitted the front bumper, so that is not in place. So if you're wondering why there's all these gaps and why the sides are sticking out, it's because it is just sitting in place. But it's more so just to show you how compatible these parts are with other versions of the 500. Fits very well. Everything has gone to plan. The bonnet's in place, as you can see, and yeah, everything just works and just fits perfect. I love these cars. They're just so easy to work on. so everything just pops off and pops in. Proper Italian engineering. None of this complex German stuff that don't get me wrong, I love German engineering. It's up there as the best in the world. But sometimes simplicity is what makes the world go around, and in this case it just works really easy. So that's all what we're going to do on the car for now. As you can see, we've fitted a bonnet, we've got the other headlight fitted in, and we've got the wing all fitted in. The indicator works, everything works. Actually, better test that. Oh, the bulb's not going to work because I've not plugged that in yet on the main headlight, so we won't test that. But I have tested the other indicator earlier, and that works fine. So we now just, to fit the bumper, we're just waiting for the furniture to arrive. Like I said, I've got the bottom grille, but I need to test the side pods, and I'm waiting for the 2 daylight running lights, and then we can fit that. So you'll see that next week. But other than that, really happy with the way that's gone this morning, and we can finish this off hopefully next week. Okay, so that's the Fiat dealt with. Let's now go and deal with the Corsa. So the last time you saw the Corsa, it was on its way to the body shop. It's now come back from the body shop, and we now need to just fit a couple of bits and pieces. So we are, I was stripping the seat out. That's all now gone back in. I've just got to do one little part because I've got the engine lights come back on, but I know what that is. Let's go and see that being fixed now, and then we're going to have a breakdown of the costs, because you're actually looking at this in the future. I've sold the Corsa, that's now gone. I'm going to tell you exactly how much I sold it for and what profit I made, and a little deal that I did in between to get the cost down. Didn't make as much as I would like to have made. I'm going to show you the reason why we didn't make as much money as I wanted to make, and how you can control that if you're buying from Copart to flip. So let's just see this little bit that we need to fix, and then we'll go and have a breakdown of the cost. So the Corsa is finally back, and as you can see, that dent has been fully repaired. So this car is now ready and is perfect in every way. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to clean this engine, which is pretty filthy, and then that's going to make it at least look a lot more presentable. So I'm going to get my hose, some APC cleaner, some Auto Finesse all-purpose cleaner, and we will compare the car, how it looks now, to what it's going to look when we finish. Okay, so this engine is looking really good now, nice and clean and ready to be a show car. So I'm going to go now and take some pictures of the car and get it ready to be put up on the website. So by the time you see this video, this car would have already been up for sale, and we'll be talking about the numbers shortly. But I'm really pleased the way this engine came out, and I just got to do the bonnet underneath here. I'm just going to give it a wipe down rather than wash down. I should have done it first really, but I'm going to give it a dry wipe down, and at least it'll look much better than what it looks now. Okay, so the engine light has come back on again, and I'm going to show you when I start the car. So it's clear that the light is back on. And at first, I thought it was the O2 sensor. But if it was the O2 sensor, then the car wouldn't run as smoothly as it did. And the reason why I thought it was the O2 sensor, because if you look at the code on my code reader, it says P00, what I thought was 63. It's actually not 63. that is B3. And the reason why I found that out is because I have an iCar soft reader as well, and I plugged that in and that came up with the B3 in capital. So when I ran this again, I just thought, let me see if this comes up with a different code, and in fact that 6 is actually a B. So when you look up P00B3, what you find is that that is actually the temperature sensor in the radiator, which is a nice relief because that is only a £10 swap out, and it's really easy to do. So I'm going to go and get the spare, and then we'll put in the radiator temperature sensor, and that should fix that problem. And that's the reason why the engine light comes on, because that temperature sensor obviously turns the fan on when the temperature gets to a certain degree, 90 degrees normally, and it tells the ECU that. And because the ECU can't read that or get a signal, that's why it's turned on an engine light fault. So there we go, quick and simple fix. So let's go and get that sorted. Okay, so here is the part that we got to replace. So it's a temperature sensor, and the thing about replacing these on the Corsa is that you should drain down the radiator. But I'm going to take a little bit of a shortcut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this up first of all, and then I'm going to take out the clip. So there's a little metal clip that you can probably see there. That's what holds it in place. And you've got a little rubber bung at the end of the temperature sensor. That's the bit that is that causes the water seal. So if I pull this out, or I connect this up, pull the other one out and pull that back in, we should be able to do it with minimal loss of water, and we just need to top up the header tank. So that's the plan. Okay, so the part that I am going to replace, let me see if I can show you it. That's on the end of this cable here. That's this bit here. So if I zoom in, you should be able to see, so you can see the clip that needs to come out, and then once we pull that clip out, then the whole unit should pop out. So let's go and do that now. I'll go and get my gloves. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to take this cable out, press it in. Here we go. So there's our cable, and now we need to just attach it to our sensor. So we're going to do that now. Okay, let's get that clip out now. There we go. That's off. So this is the bit now where I have to grab that without me losing any water. Okay, here we go. So what we'll do first of all is we'll pull this out, stick the other one in place. There we go. Done. As quick as that. Now we get a new clip, and we'll put a new clip on top. So hopefully that's going to be in. Okay, it's in. As you can see that the circlip is now in properly, and the new sensor is in. So now all we need to do is go and clear the code. Okay, so the ignition is on. You can't tell. There you go. So we can see that the ignition light is on. So now what we got to do is we got to OBD2 diagnose, let it find our system. So it's done that. And now we're going to erase those codes. Okay, so it's telling us that it's clear the code, and just to make sure, so it still found the code, the PB3. We're going to tell it to erase that again. Are you sure? Yeah, go ahead. Now it should have cleared that. And we're going to check one more time. Still got that code. Right, let's start the car up and see. Right, so the light has gone out. So the code is now cleared. So hopefully that would have solved that. I just want to check to make sure that it's not leaking. So we'll go around and check that now. The car is running. And we have no water coming out of that system. So we're good. That hopefully should be fixed. Good. Okay, so the Corsa sold yesterday. It's now gone, and now we can look forward to our next project. But before we talk about that, let's break down the costs of the Corsa and let's see what profit, if any, that we made when we sold the car. Good. So look at the screen now. You see a lovely picture of the Corsa in its glory, and then on the other side you'll see the breakdown of costs. And as you can see, we made a loss. Breaking down the costs. So the car cost £2,300. Co-part charges £682.80. Touch-up pen was £11.49. Part worn tyre was £25. I did change a tyre out for all of those who noticed that it was a winter tyre. Got them to swap it back to a standard tyre, and that didn't cost me anything, so the cost remained the same at £25. The body repair, that came in cheaper because the actual work wasn't as difficult as my body shop guy thought it was going to be. So it was just a couple of body fill bits and then paint over. So that reduced the price from £500 to £250, which was perfect. New partial shelf, because there was the one that in the car was missing, was £25, and then the sensor that you saw was £10.99. So the total spend on this car was £3,305.28. I had it advertised for £3,299 after having it advertised originally for £3,700 and getting no buyers. I dropped the price to £3,299. The guy didn't have a pound spare, so he just gave me all notes, so it was £3,300 in the end, which means that we made a £5.28 loss. So what was the killer on this car? Well, the paintwork for one, although that was reduced, it was still, in my opinion, quite a small patch. So that's what we spent £250 on. But the biggest killer was the co-part charges, which is £682, and of that, the delivery of the car was £388. So that's the thing that really hurt the profit on this car. So like I've been saying to you for the last couple of weeks, buying cars from local co-parts makes better sense. Or if you can find a delivery firm that can deliver the car to you in a more cost-effective manner, that's going to work every time. So for me, I'm now, unless I'm buying a project car, will not buy flip cars from anywhere other than the two local co-parts, Westbury and Newbury. So lesson learned there, guys. You're not going to win them all, but at least our loss wasn't as great as it could have been. Good. Okay, so that's it for this week. Thank you for viewing, and don't forget to subscribe down here if you're seeing this for the first time. If you're a regular subscriber, don't forget to hit the bell notification so the minute we release a new video, you will be the first to know. Next week we're going to be concentrating on putting the Corsa, that's gone, the 500 back together when we get all the remaining bits and pieces. And I am watching a car currently on Copart. The auction is on Friday. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want you guys bidding on it, but Friday is when the auction will be. If I win this car, I'm going to notify you guys on Instagram so you'll see what it is, but it's going to be something different. Anyway, stay tuned. We'll see you next Monday. Have a great week.